the OC Deputy Commissioner Edward D. Buco, represented by Mr. Rodi Abarintos, Mr. Paolo Vergano, Trade Facilitation Expert of the ASEAN Regional Integration Support by the EU or ARISE, Philexport Cebu Chapter Chairman, and my colleague at the Philexport National Board, Mr. Michael Teodoro, another colleague in the National Board, Chapter President Mr. Nelson Joseph Bascones, other chapter presidents and officers, exporters, other guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me thank you because finally, after 10 decades, I finally got invited to address the powwow. Well, the reason is your trustee in Philexport is our chairman, Mr. Pat Dizon. So he's the one who goes here. So, malaking butas ako ngayon kasi hindi available si Mr. Dizon. Well, it's a great pleasure because I consider powwow a model in creating venue for exporters to be informed, air concerns, as well as fellowship with one another and your partners. I understand that the number of members somehow declined due to the weak global market conditions. Yet, you remain as one of the bigger, more active Philexport chapter through the years. For this, I wish to congratulate and thank you for your resilience despite this year's team competing in all markets means that you remain focused and resolute to champion export and be open to possibilities and opportunities that are emerging. As you are aware, the competition does not get any easier, especially as we enter and prepare for the fourth industrial revolution or 4IR. Disruptive technologies and trends such as Internet of Things, robotics, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are here whether we like it or not, whether we are prepared or not. Technology is growing at an exponential pace, challenging the established trade practices and traditions. While there are uncertainties and fears on how technology has been disrupting the way we do business, I say we use these technologies to our advantage. There is much concern and much to learn and adapt with, particularly for MSMEs, which are operating in semi-mechanized, even home-based operations. Still, there is no other option if we are to competitively keep up with all these developments. Having said this, and in keeping with your theme, let me quickly walk you through some market-related developments that impact on your companies. First, the World Bank sees that the weak external demand will likely continue to temper our export performance. The Philippines Economic Update recently released by the World Bank said growth among advanced economies, which include Japan and Germany, will be substantially lower at 1.6% in 2019 and 1.4% in 2020 to 2021. This will soften the demand for Philippine goods as roughly 70% of the country's export are destined for high-income economies. It seems that your region, Cebu particularly, as the region's key exporter, is not immune and has caught on the flu. According to the regional office of NEDA, they reported in a local paper, Cebu's shipment to its key export buyers fell 17.4% in the first 9 months of 2019 to $157 million from 190 in the same period last year. In 2018, Cebu's export fell 13.81% to $246 million from $286 million in 2017. The agriculture sector reportedly stands as the most volatile to weather disturbances, while the region's export earnings continue to plunge. This pales in comparison to last year's performance when Central Visayas economy grew 7.6%, higher than the 6.2% in 2017. The region accounted for a 6.5% share in the national economic output last year. We are then looking for silver linings. Is the US-China war a boon or a bane? We have already said so far that we see no negative effects yet, although it seems that any positive result are also taking time to come in. If at all, the most at risk in this trade war is our semiconductor sector because US and China are in the sector's supply chain. Meanwhile, India's decision to opt out of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP may mean lost opportunities for us as we try to diversify our markets. Although at this point, bilateral trade between India and the Philippines is just starting to grow. So we believe that exporters can manage in the short term. Still, we see much long-term potential with India's population close to 1.4 billion people and economy growing well above 7% annually. Moving on the other traditional important market, we continue to push for greater market access for agriculture exports to the United States, which remain the country's biggest market for food and agricultural products. The Philippines has several pending requests with the U.S. Department of Agriculture for okra and pineapple export after successfully getting the green light to ship bananas, mangoes, and fresh young coconut. The U.S. is also planning a similar Belt and Road China initiative as it woos Asia in more projects and programs. On the other hand, negotiations between the Philippines and South Korea on planned free trade agreement is reportedly smooth sailing. According to South Korean ambassador to the ASEAN, Lim Sung Nam, Manila and Seoul have also been negotiating to settle a bilateral free trade deal. Further on our agriculture exports, the Philippines signed a memorandum of understanding last month with other members of the Association of Southeast ASEAN Nation or ASEAN, agreeing to focus on growing its export of seaweed and coconut products to markets outside the region. Signing for the Philippines was Agriculture Secretary William Dar. In signing the MOU, he said that the Department of Agriculture aimed to promote a scheme that will enable products of member states to strategically position themselves on matters affecting trade in the international market and ensure that the ASEAN products are being produced through sustainable means. The agreement covers products like seaweed and seaweed-based products, coconut oil, copra meal, desiccated coconut, oleochemicals, virgin coconut oil, coir fiber, coconut milk and cream activated carbon, cocoa, shell charcoal, and coconut water. Finally, on our market updates, we talk of Brexit. Along with government and economists, we believe that any impact on the Philippines of the United Kingdom's impending exit from the European Union will likely be indirect, even as they caution that this could add to factors weighing on efforts to improve Philippine trade with that bloc. Brexit could cut the UK's and EU's gross domestic product growth, and that this event would have a transmission to the Philippines to trade, noting the poorest performance of the bloc among major Philippine trade partners. Latest available trade statistics authority showed that the EU as the fourth biggest market for the Philippine goods among economic blocs last year, accounting for 13.07% with $8.82 million, down 8.15 from 2017. Other than the familiar domestic issues, one serious concern is the non-tariff measures. According to a joint report of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the Philippines outnumber many of our Asia-Pacific peers who have similar experiences in non-tariff measures. The 2019 Asia-Pacific Trade and Investment Report showed that the trade cost of non-tariff restrictions in the region now exceed double those of tariff measures. Hopefully, the domestic issue concerning procedures and documentation can be addressed by the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Philexport and Export Development Council are also working with the executive and legislative branches on other reforms needed so exporters, particularly MSMEs, can be in a better position to meet market demands. In conclusion, I concede that the export sector's target of a 6% growth this year will be put in an uphill climb, and so a positive year-end result should suffice. We are hoping that the services sector will deliver the much-needed boost to export, as well as some projected upticks from garments on increased demand for clothing during the holidays. We are also aware that the impact of the 4IR will be immense. Therefore, our response to it must be integrated and comprehensive, involving all stakeholders in the country to help facilitate ripple effects to sustain, if not improve, our economic growth. Through this journey, Philexport will continue to be a strong and able partner, particularly empowering exporters and MSME. With that, may I end my message by wishing you all a meaningful forum ahead. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay tayong lahat.